Hey, Carly.
Hey, Wade.
Today we're going to talk about for loops, which is one of the programming mechanisms we're going to do to start running simulations.
Awesome.
And a for loop is another form of flow control, which allows us to change the execution of a program. So if we think about a Python program, we think about programs that run from top to bottom. So if we think about 3 lines of code that says print hi, and then print hello, and finally print world, Python's going to look at the first line we type in a cell and print out hi to the screen. So our output that we expect is going to be hi, then it's going to expect to print hello, and then world, because Python simply looks at the first line of code, runs it, looks at the next line of code and runs it, and looks at the third line of code and runs it. So it's very much top to bottom. And we can alter this flow or the control flow of the program through different constructs. And one really important construct is the idea of a loop. So a loop's going to allow us to repeat the same line of code many times. So to build a loop, we're always going to follow the exact same syntax. And this syntax is going to include a for statement. So for is simply going to be the way we start writing a loop. And we'll say for I, then the word in, and then the word range. And inside the parentheses after range, we're going to specify how many times we want the loop to run. So if I say for I in range 10, and then I'm going to put a colon, and the colon's going to indicate that everything following this line is going to be both indented and then going to be repeated the total number of times mentioned inside the range statement. So if I say for I in range 10, and then print hi, where print hi is indented, and then if I don't indent something, I'm going to do print world without indentation. So what I see here is I see 3 lines of code, and this first line says I'm going to repeat everything that is indented after this line a total of 10 times. And I'm only going to repeat the lines that are indented. So for I in range 10, print hi, I'm going to expect that hi is actually going to be looped over and ran 10 times. And because world is not indented, that means that world is only going to be printed once, only once it finishes this entire block.
So this part is not a part of the for loop?
Exactly. And it's not a part of the for loop because it is not indented.
Got it.
So Carly, you've got Python up right there.
Yeah, I just typed up all this code, and that is exactly what happened. I have 10 highs and 1 world.
So we see a total of 10 highs, and at the very, very end, again running from top to bottom, we see world.
So you're controlling the flow of this program by having it do the high 10 times, going back and forth, and then doing the world.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And we can put as many lines of code inside the for loop as we want, so long as that we constantly are indenting. So if we look at a slightly more complicated program where we're maybe doing 2 things, I'm going to say for I in range 10, and then I'm going to print out one line that says I rolled a, and then I want to print out the result of a dice roll. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a die. So I'm going to say my dice roll is called roll, and I'm going to say random.rand int 1,6 to roll the die. And then I'm going to print out roll. And so what I see here is now I have 3 lines of code that are indented inside of the for loop. So Carly, what do you think's going to happen? What do we expect the result to be?
So let's see, we're doing this 10 times. And I think every single time, for all 10 times, we're going to see I rolled a, and then a number 1 through 6.
Yes, so every 10 times it's going to run through all 3 of these lines, then loop back a total of 10 times.
Yes.
So let's actually see this in action. If we write this up in Python, what we actually get when we write this for loop with 3 lines of code.
Ooh, I actually got an error because I realized I did not import random.
Oh, yes. So we use a library call right here. And that's something I didn't even consider.
Yes.
Which the random library is needed to do that. So in a cell before that, or even at the top of the cell,
Mhm.
we simply need to say import random to allow us to use the random library in Python. Great catch.
And now that I did that, I see 10 lines that say I rolled a, the first one's a 5, the second one's I rolled a 4, I rolled a 6, I rolled a 6 again, etc. And there's 10 of those.
So basically what we've done, we've started down the road of creating a simulation where Carly, instead of rolling this dice that I have in my hand, she used Python to actually write a program that rolled a die for her. And you were able to do that really quickly.
Yeah, and this is really nice because we don't have to sit here and roll this die a bunch of times. It's also nice in statistics for a lot of times we want to randomly sample people from a population to be a part of a survey. And instead of flipping a coin for every person and deciding, okay, you're going to be in our study or not, we can do a simulation in Python and it saves us a bunch of time.
Awesome.